Welcome to the Human Curious, where we unravel the mysteries that shape our world and beyond. If you're fascinated by the unexplained, the extraordinary, and the awe-inspiring, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit the like button to join our community of curious minds. Today, we're about to explore a scenario unlike any other, a world transformed by fire, where the laws of nature are rewritten. Are you ready to imagine the unimaginable? Let's dive in. It rained embers, not water, not gentle drops, flames falling from the heavens, a million tiny suns descending on an unsuspecting world. The air crackled with a terrifying beauty, a deadly spectacle. This was not a storm. It was an unmaking, a transformation of everything we knew. Imagine looking up, expecting clouds, perhaps a shower. Instead, you see streaks of orange, hot cinders drifting down like snow. But this snow burns. It consumes. The familiar blue sky turns red, a canopy of incandescent rage. The scent of ozone and burning fills the air. A primal fear grips every heart. The day the sky bled fire. This was no ordinary fire, not a wildfire contained by land. This was a deluge, a flood of pure heat, relentless, all-encompassing energy. It did not seek to drown. It sought to incinerate, to purify, or perhaps simply to end. The very atmosphere became a weapon, a global furnace ignited. The world held its breath. Then it screamed, a silent scream. As the first structures caught, the familiar became alien. The impossible became reality. This fiery rain was just the beginning, a prelude to a much larger symphony, a symphony of utter desolation. The old rules no longer applied. A new, terrible age had dawned. Our ancestors knew things we may have forgotten. They looked at the stars, listened to the earth, and spoke of cycles, creation, and destruction. Many cultures, separated by oceans and time, shared a chilling premonition, a great cleansing, not by water but by fire. The Zoroastrian spoke of frashokareti, a final renovation of the universe, where fire and molten metal would flow, a river of flame across the earth, not to destroy utterly but to purify, to separate good from evil, a cosmic trial by ordeal. Only the righteous might pass through, travel across the globe to the Mayans. Their intricate calendars tracked vast ages, and they too spoke of world endings and new beginnings. Some of their myths hinted at destruction, not just by flood, but by fire. Jaguar gods, sky serpents, unleashing cosmic conflagrations. These were not idle tales. They were embedded in their cosmology. In Hindu thought, the concept of pralaya exists, the dissolution of the universe at the end of a cosmic cycle. While water is often the agent, fire, in the form of Agni, is primal, a force of transformation. The world consumed, only to be reborn. These ancient voices whisper a warning, a possibility we dare not ignore. How could such a nightmare unfold in our modern scientific age? What could trigger a global firestorm, a rain of pure flame? Perhaps not one event, but a cascade of terrible coincidences, a perfect storm of cosmic proportions. Imagine our atmosphere changing its delicate balance, thrown into chaos. A sudden, inexplicable chemical shift. Oxygen levels spike beyond control, or unknown particles from deep space interact with our upper atmosphere, creating a chain reaction, a self-sustaining combustion high above. What was once our protective blanket could become the source of our doom. Or consider the sun. What if it unleashed an unprecedented flare, a wave of charged particles so immense it overwhelms our magnetic shield, igniting the very air we breathe? Not a gentle warmth, but a searing blast, turning sky to a burning lens. The first signs might be subtle, strange auroras at all latitudes, a metallic taste in the air. Then, the sky would begin to glow not with the light of day, but with an angry luminescence, followed by the first falling embers, sparks turning into rivers of fire. The ignition of a planetary catastrophe, a fire not of Earth, but from the heavens. Once begun, the fire would spread, not like a forest fire, but raining from above, everywhere. No continent spared, no ocean deep enough to quench it. Cities, monuments of human achievement, would become funeral pyres. Skyscrapers melting, glass running like tears, stone cracking and crumbling. The oceans would offer little sanctuary, their surfaces boiling, steam rising in colossal plumes, mixing with smoke, choking the sky. Marine life in the upper layers would face unimaginable agony. The very water, a symbol of life, turned into a boiling cauldron. Firestorms of unprecedented scale would rage across continents, creating their own weather systems. Winds of superheated air, sucking in oxygen, feeding the blaze. The roar would be deafening, a constant planetary scream of burning. Darkness would fall, not of night but of smoke so thick, so pervasive, the sun of forgotten memory. The air itself would become poison, filled with ash, soot, and toxic gases. Breathing would be an act of courage, or futility. Visibility reduced to mere inches, the world transformed into a dark oven. This would not be a quick end for many, but a slow, torturous fading in a world consumed by its own fever. What of the natural world? The forests, ancient and green, the plains, teeming with life, all would face this fiery judgment. Trees would explode like torches, grasslands vanish in moments, leaving scorched earth. The rich tapestry of biodiversity, unraveling thread by fiery thread. Animals, great and small, would have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Birds would fall from the burning sky, land creatures caught in the open or in burrows that become ovens. Even those in rivers or lakes would find the waters heating, deoxygenating. A mass extinction event, beyond anything previously imagined. The delicate balance of ecosystems, perfected over millions of years, shattered in days. Pollinators gone, food chains broken, the very soil baked and sterilized. Recovery, if ever possible, would take millennia. The earth, scarred and weeping ash, the atmosphere a toxic, hostile shroud. The climate thrown into violent disarray. Acid rain, if any rain could form, would fall on a desolate landscape. Nature's resilience is legendary, but this would test it beyond limits. Before we dive deeper into the aftermath, let's take a quick breather. Imagine it, an unstoppable fire flood sweeping across the globe. What do you think would happen next? Would humanity find an unexpected way to survive? Or would something entirely unpredictable emerge from the ashes? Share your wildest theory in the comments below. Do you think a new species could rise? Or maybe technology could shield a lucky few? We'd love to hear your most creative ideas. Don't forget to like and subscribe and get ready, because the most startling facts are still to come. For humanity, the initial shock would be absolute. Disbelief, then terror, then chaos. Our complex societies would shatter like brittle glass. Governments crumble, communications fail. No internet, no phones, only the roar of fire and the screams of the lost. Panic would be the first plague, people fleeing but to where? The bonds of community would strain, and in many places break. The desperate scramble for shelter against an enemy that is everywhere. The thin veneer of civilization, stripped away by elemental fury. Our cities would become death traps, concrete and steel offering no protection. Millions, perhaps billions, would perish in the first hours, the first days. The sheer scale of loss, unimaginable. The survivors, scattered and stunned, would face a world transformed into something alien. The air thick with the ghosts of what was. The silence after the firestorm passes would be more terrifying than the noise. A silence of utter devastation. The dawn of a new, brutal existence, if existence could even be sustained. Where could humanity find refuge? The surface would be uninhabitable, a scorched, toxic wasteland. Survival would demand ingenuity and perhaps unimaginable luck. Deep underground, perhaps. Bunkers, mines, subway systems, if sealed against the heat and toxic air. But for how long? Resources would be finite. Food and water, breathable air. The psychological toll of confinement, while the world above burns. What about the oceans? Submarines, deep-sea research facilities. Could they become bastions of humanity? But the oceans too would be changing. Their chemistry, their temperature. And then there is space. A desperate, last-ditch exodus for a tiny, privileged few. Could we launch ships in time to escape Earth's fiery embrace, carrying the seeds of humanity to an unknown, uncertain future among the stars? In the face of such a cataclysm, how would survivors behave? Would this ultimate trial forge unity or shatter us completely? Shared suffering can create powerful bonds, a common enemy, a common goal: survival. But resources would be impossibly scarce. Food, water, shelter, medicine. Fear and desperation can drive good people to dark deeds. Competition could turn brutal, groups fighting over remnants. Would our better angels prevail? Leadership would be crucial. Individuals rising to the challenge, organizing, guiding, inspiring hope, or tyrants seizing control, hoarding resources, ruling by fear. New societies would form, for better or worse, based on trust or power. Perhaps small pockets of cooperation would become beacons in the darkness, sharing knowledge, skills, and hope. The ancient myths, were they mere stories or echoes of forgotten traumas? Warnings about the fragility of existence, the flood of fire, a recurring nightmare in the collective unconscious? But these stories also speak of rebirth, of survivors carrying the spark of life. Humanity is resilient. We have faced ice ages, plagues, wars. If a remnant did endure, they would carry a heavy burden, the memory of a world lost to fire. The tales of a fiery end serve as a stark reminder that our world is precious and vulnerable. Perhaps the greatest lesson is the enduring strength of the human spirit and the timeless call to cherish the fragile miracle of life on Earth. Thank you for joining us on this fiery journey through myth, science, and imagination. At The Human Curious, we explore the stories that shape our understanding of the world and ourselves. If this adventure sparked your curiosity, don't forget to subscribe. Share this video with your friends and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What would you do in the face of a world reborn by fire? Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next adventure.